Okay, EV road trip into charging desert number 2. This destination was Mount Mitchell State Park, which was supposed to be my first attempt, but because of the hurricane, it had to be pushed back a week. Wife came with me on this trip, which for the rest of the trips and the trip before this was not the case, but it was autumn and really beautiful. So we made it a couple date day and did it together, and truly the colors were spectacular. One thing about going into upper elevations during peak color season is you get to see the peak color as you ascend and descend, depending on where it might be at that time. And you see different levels of colors, and green down at the low levels and bare trees up at the high level, and in between you get peak color. Here's the surveyor marker at the top of Mount Mitchell. So electric vehicles have a hard time going uphill. They consume a lot of energy. The reason being is that an electric vehicle weighs more than a normal internal combustion engine car. A lithium-ion battery is a heavy monster. That's where electric vehicles get their juice from in order to power the electric motor. The Volvo XC40 Recharge that we took this trip in, I think, weighs 1,000 pounds more than the Volvo XC40, which is the internal combustion engine. You would think an internal combustion engine with a big hunk of steel would weigh more, but no, the EVs weigh much more. And so they do not do well when they're going uphill. Now, Mount Mitchell is way the freaking uphill. It's as high as you could possibly go unless you went to the Rockies. So this, for me, was a challenge, and definitely I wanted to plan it out. I did have a lot of apprehension going into it. So I did plan it out quite well. Plus, I was with my wife, so I didn't want to look like an idiot on our date. Here we are, crossing the Continental Divide on our way up. One thing I didn't take into account is that your tire pressure fluctuates quite a bit when you come from the lowlands and you go up into the mountains. My tire pressure gauge actually popped when we got up there, and the tires were fine. They were just showing a change in pressure enough to trip the sensor. But anyway, this is us on our way up. There's my beautiful wife sitting on the summit. You can see my reflection in her glasses, and there is the summit. This is actually a grave site, which is a little morbid, but these people are sitting around the remains of someone who was helpful in establishing this state park. And so they asked for the remains to be left on the summit, and there they are. This is looking towards Mount Mitchell, and you can see the beautiful foliage color going on there. Mount Mitchell, I think, is just a little bit over here outside of the frame, but you see that because of its elevation, lots of times clouds come pouring in from the west, and because they're pushed up because of the mountains, over here on the east side, it's drier than over on the west side. And that was it. Not much to see here in this EV road trip. There'll be more in subsequent ones. And actually, let me see if I can... No. All right, so that'll be it.